Good morning and welcome to Live Without Limits, Transform Your Thinking to Redesign Your Life. I'm your host, Davida Shensky, and today we're diving into one of the most powerful topics of all, finding your purpose. Purpose isn't just about having a job or setting goals. It's about uncovering your why. Why you do what you do. Why you wake up in the morning. Why you keep pushing forward even when things get tough. When you discover your true purpose, is not only guides your life, it makes you unique. It sets you apart in ways that no one else can copy. And when you live, you're aligned with the purpose. It fuels you to become the best version of yourself in everything you do. So, in today's episode, we're going to break down step by step what life purpose really means, how you can start to find yours, why the purpose makes you unique, how it can empower you to be the absolute best of what you want to be. And let me first tell you a little story. I can remember as a child growing up with a disability, I used to question, why me? Why me? And I came down to there was a purpose for why me. And no matter how many times I would go find jobs just to keep the roof over my head, I always came back to what my purpose is. Therefore, it is important that you understand exactly what your life purpose is. So, let's start with the big question. What is purpose? Your purpose isn't just a job, it's a career path and even a hobby that you love. Purpose is the deeper reason behind it all. It's your personal mission. It's what gives you meaning to your actions, even in the ordinary moments. Now, some people confuse passion with purpose. Passion is what excites you, like music, teaching, or business. Purpose is broader. It's how you use that passion to impact the world around you. Think about people who've left a mark in the world. Their uniqueness wasn't in their skill alone, it was the fact that they connected their skills and passions to a bigger reason why. So I want you to reflect on this question. What drives you beyond money or recognition? When you strip everything else away, what would still matter to you? That's where purpose begins. Drives you beyond money and recognition? Making an impact. I want to help young people believe in themselves because I know what it felt like to grow up without support. Contribution to society. I'm driven by leading, leaving communities stronger than I found them, whether that's through mentoring, volunteering, or teaching. Innovation and creativity. I want to create tools or art that make people's lives easier or more meaningful. Legacy through family. I want to raise children who are kind, compassionate, and capable of leading with integrity. Personal growth. I'm motivated by mastering new skills and pushing myself to see how far I can grow. When you strip everything else away, what would still matter to you? in relationships, even if I had no job title or status, I'd still want to nurture my family and close friendships, health and well-being. If all else was gone, I'm still prioritizing taking care of my mind and body, service, helping others find confidence, direction would still be meaningful even without recognition, faith, spirituality, my spiritual connection, and the values it gives me would remain at the core of who I am. Joy in simple things, walking in nature, writing or creating music would still bring me fulfillment, even if no one ever saw or paid for it. How to find your purpose. Now, let's talk about the process of finding your purpose. Here's a simple 4-step framework. Look inward. What are your values, your strengths, and natural talents? What activities make you lose track of time because you're so engaged? Look outward. How can you use those strengths to serve others? Purpose is almost always about connection. It's not just about you, it's about how you show up for others. Look back. Your past experiences hold clues. What challenges have you overcome? What struggles shaped you? And who are you today? Often your greatest points paint you toward that purpose. Look forward. What legacy do you want to leave? When people think of you years from now, what do you want them to say that you stood for? Here are a couple of exercises to try. Journal about the moments in your life when you felt the most alive and fulfilled. Write down 3 challenges that you faced and how they changed you. Ask yourself if fear, money, and expectations didn't exist, what would I be doing? Patterns will start to emerge, and those patterns are breadcrumbs that lead you to your purpose. Now, before I get any further, I want to say that I'm actually working on a program and a membership site that will offer not only courses, but challenges that can help you learn how to find yourself. But it's also about how AI can be your coach, because that AI, if you're putting in the prompts, you're telling them what you're looking for, and it's going to write out a system for you to work, because it's built on algorithms, and technology influences everything we do today. Now, journal about the moments in your life when you felt the most alive and fulfilled. The first time I gave a speech in front of an audience, I felt nervous at first, but when people came up afterwards saying my words inspired them, I felt a deep sense of purpose. When I volunteered at a local shelter and saw how much joy a small act of kindness brought to someone else, I felt joy. A small, in a way, let me say this again. When I volunteered at a local shelter and saw how much joy a small act of kindness brought to someone else, I felt alive in a way that no paycheck ever gave me. I felt most fulfilled when I finished writing my first blog post. It wasn't perfect, but it was my voice being shared with the world. Now, I want to quickly say this because I think it's important that for someone like me, because cerebral palsy affects how the brain processes information, it doesn't always come out flowing. And therefore, like in my case, if I use AI, it basically takes away that jumbleness in my mind, and it says it clearly. And for all of us, none of us are perfect. All of us have something that's a little off, but understanding who you are and where you come from really helps you to get in tune with yourself and helps you to decide who and what your purpose is and how you are going to get there. Because what we want to do is help you get from where you are today to where you want to be in the future and what is your life purpose. So write down 3 challenges that you faced and how they changed you. Losing my job unexpectedly taught me resilience. It forced me to get creative and eventually led me to start a business I never thought I'd ever have the courage to build. Growing up with a disability gave me empathy for others who feel underestimated. That challenge shaped my drive to advocate for inclusion. In fact, I had to advocate for inclusion because I had to fight for my own rights because I had no one to fight for me. A failed relationship taught me to set healthy boundaries and value my own worth first. It changed how I show up in every connection now. Ask yourself if fear, money, and expectations didn't exist, what would I be doing? I would be traveling the world, teaching workshops or personal growth and empowering people face to face. I'd be painting full time and creating art that tells stories without worrying whether it sells or not. I would start a nonprofit to help young entrepreneurs with disadvantaged backgrounds turn their ideas into thriving businesses. These examples show the purpose often hides in the things that lit you up, the struggles that reshaped you, the dreams that you chase, if nothing held you back. Now, there's one thing that I wanted to state. Back in the 90s, I actually put together a business plan to start a nonprofit called International Disabled Entrepreneurs, Inc., that would serve people with disabilities who want to become entrepreneurs. Because even though you have rehabilitation services, they're only there to help you get gainful employment. They're not there to help you find your purpose or to help you if you wanted to start your own business. And I did go through rehabilitation services when I started my business, got my first computer, got the software installed that I needed it. But once I got it, then it was up to me to keep up the computer, upgrade it when I needed to, upgrade the software. And one thing for me was and I started my business when it was all offline. And it took money to build a business offline, far more than it does to actually get your business up and running with a website and marketing it today. So, And I still would like to eventually set up the nonprofit. And the purpose is, the only reason I wasn't able to do it back then is that I did not have the funds to go get the 501c3 at that time. But there is still a need, because a lot of people with disabilities, even though they are referred to rehabilitation services, they are not geared into a job or a meaningful career that serves them. So, and I've seen it from both sides. I've seen it from being a client of rehabilitation services, and I've also seen it as a student be learning what rehabilitation services is about. And many times the people who need those services the most are the ones who fall through the cracks, because based on the government and their, I'm not finding the right words, but let me say it this way, that rehabilitation services has to show a 95% success rate. Therefore, they're more likely to help someone who's been able-bodied and become disabled later in life, because they're more likely to be able to show through statistics that success rate, as opposed to someone who was born with a disability and has the capability, but may take longer than it would take someone else. Therefore, they're usually the ones that fall through the cracks. The purpose makes you unique. And let me say this before I get into that all of us are unique. All of us have something that makes us different from someone else. And part of that's our behavior patterns, that's inborn, which is our strengths, which is our weaknesses. So here's the exciting part. Once you start uncovering your purpose, you'll realize something powerful. It makes you unique. Think about it. Nobody else has lived your story. Nobody else has your exact mix of strengths, passions, and life experiences. That means that your purpose is yours alone. And when you lean into it, you don't have to compare yourself to others. You're not trying to fit into someone else's mold. You're building your own lane. The real thing that's happening is that often parents don't understand what makes you unique, so they're advising you based on what they want and what would be their purpose, not yours. So you have to begin to realize that you have to set boundaries when it becomes to someone else trying to dictate what you should be doing, because only you know who you are and what your purpose is. Now, two people might both be teachers, but one has a purpose rooted in empowering disadvantaged youth, while another has a purpose tied to speaking creatively through art. They're both teachers, but their uniqueness comes from their purpose. When you live authentically in your purpose, you stand out. You attract the right opportunities, and people become, because they're drawn to your clarity and passion. So, how to live authentically in your purpose and why it makes you stand out. Understand what living authentically means. Living authentically is about alignment, your actions, your choices, and the words that line up with your values and deeper why, instead of chasing what you think you should be doing for money, status, or approval. You act in a way that reflects who you really are. A coach who values empowerment doesn't try to be salesy. They focus on serving and uplifting, and and clients are naturally drawn in. Why? You stand out. Clarity is magnetic. When you know your purpose, your decisions and communication become consistent. People trust you because they sense that you're not pretending. Passion is contagious. When you talk about something that truly matters to you, your energy excites others. They can feel your authenticity, and that makes you memorable. Uniqueness is built in. Your story, your experiences, and perspective are one of a kind. When you lean into the that instead of copying others, you automatically differentiate yourself. So, how to attract the right opportunities? When you live aligned with your purpose, your message gets sharper. Instead of trying to appeal to everyone, your clarity draws the exact people who need your gift. Your network changes. Like minded people and organizations start to connect with you because they resonate with your values. Opportunities find you, whether it's collaborations, job offers, or clients. People prefer to work with someone whose conviction and purpose shine through. Now, this is what I want to say about this. In that, who we are, what our purpose is, and where it all comes from is all determined by our uniqueness. And I want to quickly go into something of an assessment profile because it talks about, I've used the desk many times. The D is the dominant behavior pattern. That's someone that feels they can control everyone and everything around them, and they're very outgoing. You've got the I, which is very strong interpersonal skills. They're able to talk to strangers, to interact with people, and those two behavior patterns are extroverts. And then you have the two introverts, the steadiness personality, and that person is someone who literally reads the company manual and goes by it. Then you've got the conscientious behavior pattern. That's someone who questions everything before they make a decision. Now, we all have these personality traits within us. Some are our strengths, some of them are our weaknesses. But we need to learn how to move between them in different situations and how to literally learn how to get out of what's our comfort zone, because your strength is your comfort zone and your weakness are those that where you're stretching to reach something that you don't actually feel comfortable with. Now, someone whose purpose is helping small businesses thrive will naturally connect with entrepreneurs at networking events, attract referrals from other professions, and get noticed by clients who value personalized support. Practical steps to live authentically in your purpose. Define your core values. Write down your top 3 to 5 values: growth, service, creativity, integrity. Let these guide every decision. Share your story. Be open about what shaped you. Vulnerability builds trust and shows your unique perspective. Align your work. Audit your daily actions. They are moving you closer to your purpose or away from it. Communicate with passion. Whether in conversations, on social media, or in business, speak about what you believe in. Passion is a magnet. Let go of comparison. Stop trying to imitate others in your industry. Instead, double down on what makes you different. Often, as an entrepreneur or a solopreneur building your business, there's other people that do what you do. And one of the things, and this is what I meant to talk about earlier, is that often an entrepreneur, when they go into business, they say everyone is their customer. But remember this, that if you niche it down to a specific group and tailor your communication to them, then you're going to make more money in that smaller group than if you try to appeal to everyone. So the idea is look at what someone else is doing, take what they're doing, incorporate it into what you're doing, but what makes your purpose and you unique, and how can you give that message? What it looks like in action. A teacher whose purpose is empowerment doesn't just deliver lessons, she instills confidence in every student, and parents notice. An entrepreneur whose purpose is innovation doesn't just sell products, he pushes boundaries and attracts investors who want his vision. A life coach whose purpose is helping others break free from limiting beliefs becomes the go-to mentor for people seeking transformation because her message is authentic and consistent. The ripple effect. When you live authentically in your purpose, you don't have to chase opportunities. Your clarity acts like a beacon. You don't burn out because purpose sustains motivation. You inspire others, creating a ripple effect that multiplies your impact. When you stop hiding, stop imitating, and start leaning fully into your purpose, you naturally rise above the noise. People are drawn not just to what you do, but to who you are. That's what makes you unforgettable. Purpose makes you the best at what you do. Now, let's take it to a step further. Purpose doesn't just make you unique, it makes you the best at what you do. Purpose fuels motivation. When things get hard, your why keeps you going. Purpose creates clarity. You stop chasing distractions because you know what matters most. Purpose inspires mastery. When you care deeply, you put in the extra practice, the late nights, the resilience, because it's not just work, it's your calling. Think about athletes or entrepreneurs who excel. They didn't become great just from talent. They had a purpose, and that pushed them beyond average effort. So here's a challenge for you. Write down one way that your purpose can elevate the work you're doing right now. Maybe it's showing up with more intention. Maybe it's learning a new skill. Maybe it's shifting your mindset. But one step today can change everything. So here's a challenge for you. Write down one way that your purpose can elevate your work today. Reconnect with your purpose. Before you apply it, you need to bring your purpose into focus. Ask yourself, what is the deeper reason behind the work I do? My purpose is to empower others through teaching. Write your purpose in one clear sentence at the top of your page. Identify your current work. Think about something that you're working on right now. Your job, a project, a relationship, or even a daily habit. I'm preparing a client presentation. I'm managing a team project. I'm writing content for my business. Don't overthink it. Pick something that's in front of you today. Ask how you can elevate your purpose. This is the breakthrough moment. Instead of seeing the task as routine, ask, if I approach this with my purpose in mind, what would I do differently? How can my purpose add more meaning, value, or impact to the task? If your purpose is to inspire confidence, maybe you present with more encouragement instead of just facts. If your purpose is to serve through creativity, maybe you redesign the project with a fresh, bold idea. If your purpose is to bring healing to others, maybe you approach it as a tough conversation with empathy instead of defensiveness. Choose one action today. Circle one way that you can elevate your work and commit to it. I will show up to my client call today with more intention, listening deeply, of rushing through. I'll invest 20 minutes in learning a new tool that makes my work more impactful. I'll reframe my mindset from I have to do this to this is an opportunity to live with purpose. Keep it small. The point is not to overhaul your life in one day, but to take one step that reinforces alignment with purpose. Reflect tonight. At the end of the day, ask yourself, did I elevate my work by aligning with my purpose? How did I feel different? What ripple effect did I have on others? The reflection helps you reinforce the habit of bringing purpose into everyday tasks. My purpose is to help others believe in their potential. Writing tomorrow's social media post. Instead of just promoting my service, I'll write a message that genuinely encourages someone who feels stuck. I got more engagement than usual, and I felt more connected to why I'm doing this work. The challenge isn't about massive changes, it's about shifting how you approach the work that is already on your plate. Every time you elevate your work, your purpose, you strengthen your uniqueness, and position yourself to do your best. As we wrap up today's episode, let's bring it all together. Purpose is the deep why. Finding it means living inward, outward, back, or forward. Your purpose makes you unique. Nobody else has your exact path. And when you live aligned with it, you naturally become the best at what you do. Here's a journaling prompt for you this week. If I have lived every day with purpose, what would I be doing differently than I am right now? I'd love to hear your insights. Reach out to me and share your breakthrough. And don't forget, when you align with your purpose, you're not just living, you're thriving. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode of Live Without Limits. And remember this, you and everyone in your life has a purpose. Encourage your children to be who they were meant to be. Be with a spouse or significant other who's there to support you, not try to control you and the life that they want you to live.